Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. Hey, good news if you tend to do a belly flop. Scientists are trying to solve the problem. Researchers at the University of Brown set up a belly flop-like water experiment using a blunt cylinder. You see, the larger the surface area of an object hitting the water, the more resistance there will be. Yes, scientists, I think we understood this already. Scientists began studying diving birds like kingfishers, and despite the stress on their bodies, kingfishers are able to dive again and again without injuries, thanks in part to their tapered cone-shaped beaks. Did we really need science to do this? More information in the Journal of Fluid Mechanics. Good news for Colin Devereaux. He has spent a month in the hospital after being bit by a crocodile. That doesn't sound like good news, John. Stay with me. Devereaux was hanging out by a lake and he was watching some fish scramble away, and then all of a sudden a crocodile latched onto his right foot, shaking him like a rag doll. That sounds horrible. Devereaux tried kicking the crocodile. That didn't work. So he bit the crocodile. He said, I was in such an awkward position, but by accident, my teeth caught his eyelid. It was pretty thick, like holding on to leather, but I jerked back on his eyelid and he let go. I leapt away and took off to where my car was. He chased me for a bit, but then stopped. That sounds terrifying. The walls of a secret underground room discovered in 1975, covered in sketches by Michelangelo, are now being unveiled to the public for the first time. Seems Michelangelo hid in this tiny chamber for about 2 months in 1530 while evading a death sentence ordered by Pope Clement VII. 50 years ago, museum officials were working to create a new exit for tourists visiting the Medici Chapel, and they found this room. Stripping 2 layers of plaster from the walls revealed the existence of drawings by Michelangelo using charcoal wooden sticks. Paola D'Agostino is the director of Bargello Museums and said Michelangelo drew things from the past as if he was taking a trip down memory lane. It was like having an album of his works. Public access will be allowed on an experimental basis until March of 2024, with only 4 people at a time being able to view the room. They are concerned about conservation, so there will be alternating periods of LED lights and prolonged periods of darkness. The room had been used as a charcoal deposit until 1955 and then unused for decades. Wow. Hey, good news if you're a cat owner, they might be friendlier than their reputation. Brittany Florkowicz is a researcher and began studying cats to learn more about how they communicate and express themselves after videotaping and reviewing cats' facial expressions at a cat cafe for nearly a year. She found that cats displayed at least 276 different facial expressions. She said, I fell prey to the stereotype of, cats are aloof. They don't really express themselves as much as dogs. About once a week, the researchers housed about 30 cats that were up for adoption. The researchers arranged a room and a patio for the cats to roam around that included food, water, litter boxes, scratching posts, wooden perches, and toys. They recorded 150 hours of cat interactions. They studied how the cats moved their ears, wrinkled their noses, parted their lips, and licked their faces. They labeled each face either a friendly or unfriendly expression. When the cats were happy or having fun, they typically moved their ears and whiskers forward and outward, and sometimes closed their eyes. When the cats felt unhappy, they typically moved their ears backwards and flattened them, licked their lips, and constricted their pupils. Of the 276 facial expressions, researchers found out that about 46% were friendly, 37% were aggressive, and 17% were ambiguous. And one more story today. This one's a touch naughty if you're listening with kids. It's not too bad, but I'll warn you, it's a touch naughty. A woman has earned thousands of dollars working as a naked cleaner. Lottie is 32, and she's trying to figure out how to make extra money. Now, she warns there's a few people who are creepy. Some of the guys think something else is going to happen. She says, I'm clear. I'm just there to clean. She says, I don't even wear gloves half the time, even though I know I should. Well, yeah, naked cleaner, yeah. One guy joined in. He's a nudist. She said, he was already naked when I showed up, so we had some coffee, and I played with his dog, and then we got to work. He's not the only client that got naked. She said a few of them are quite nervous at first and keep their clothes on until they're confident enough to take them all off, and then they clean the place. That's your 5 good news stories for today. If you enjoy the podcast, tell somebody about it. Maybe they'll like it too, and you can follow it for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your shows. You have a great day.